Hey y'all, I'm Allie. Welcome to Little Hill Homestead. Are you a person like me that wants your house to smell like super festive and delicious during the holidays? Today I'm going to show you guys a super duper easy simmer pot recipe. I love this one because it has like all of the scents of Christmas wrapped into one, and it makes a fantastic gift. I like this one for, I always say coworkers because that was always a hard one for me to shop for. But the mailman or people that you see in shops a lot that you want to give a little treat to or things like that. Or if you want to tuck this in with a bottle of wine for somebody when you're going to their house for the holidays, things like that. So a simmer pot is basically, there's two options. You can do it in a crock pot. It seems like everybody in the 80s did it in a crock pot. You can also do it like William Sonoma style and put it on your stovetop just really, really low. It's basically a pot of water. You dump these ingredients into it and you let it just simmer away, and it makes your house smell delicious. I know I worked for a company for a lot of years that did home scent stuff. And the number one thing is when somebody walks into your house, they get a memory from the scent as soon as they step in the door. So if your house smells like dog, like mine probably does a lot of times, something like this is going to help to cover that up when you have guests coming over for the holidays. So let's get started. I'm going to be using a dehydrator today, but you do not. You can actually do this in the oven as well. So I'm going to give you both methods. So we have, these are our ingredients. I have some big cinnamon sticks. Those are already dehydrated and ready to go. So I'm just going to stick those to the side until we need them. I'm going to be using, I cut some rosemary from my garden. It's just fresh rosemary, and I did it in sprigs like this so that it looks pretty when we tuck it in a bag. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those straight onto a tray. I think I have like 8 of them. There's so many people with rosemary that if you need some and you like, hey, you have a rosemary bush in your yard, can I borrow some? They're probably going to say, yeah, please come get some, because you can't ever use all that you grow. The next thing we're going to be using is some pine. If you have a Christmas tree already, you're good to go. I have like, I don't even know if it's pine actually. It might be a cypress of some kind on the side of my house. And we're going to be cutting them down most likely. But during this time of year, I often will run out there and we do like displays around our house at Christmas using this. So all I'm going to do is cut it so that you get pieces kind of like that. Think pretty tucked in a bag size. I just went and grabbed 2 off the side of my house, and I'm just using my garden shears that are squeaky to kind of cut them up, and I'm just going to lay those right on our tray as well. These are going to dry out pretty quickly. Just because of the nature of them. But I'm trying to do one dehydrator to do everything that we need for our simmer pots. And I'm going to do a big batch of them because like I'm going to be giving this, we go check our PO box, and there's the sweetest lady that works at our mailbox place, our post office. She's fantastic. There's also people that I run into, you know, just doing your normal shopping, think people at the grocery store or whatever that you see on a normal basis. These are things that I might tuck in my purse or tuck in the car because it would smell good in your car too. To share with people because they're kind of a low dollar thing, but it's like you made it and it has some heart in it, which is like the whole point, right? So our whole video series so far is going to be gifts under $10. This one goes well below that to make a big batch of them. Okay, I'm done making squeaky noises. That was the longest cutting of this stuff ever, but I needed it cut. So I kind of just sprinkle it around, and then as it dries, I'll continue to move them around. Like, that's too big. Let's break that apart a little bit. This just looks festive and beautiful. So I'm just loading my trays like that, and I'm going to stick it to the side. So let me dump stuff in this thing from my cutting board. I'm going to flip it just because these are, I'm not going to eat these, but I guess I don't want to contaminate dirt on things. I just got some oranges. They're not organic. They're just whatever oranges. If you want the best deal, and this is not where I went, Aldi has oranges for really reasonable. We're just going to cut these. You want to go to 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch. The thinner you can get it, and you can use a mandolin or if a food processor, if yours does well. The thinner you get, the faster they will dehydrate. So I literally want to do like that. So I'm going to just sit here and slice all these. They turn the most beautiful color when they dehydrate too. But like that's about the thickest I would go. I'm trying to do thinner than that if I can. Oops. It's very windy here today, and I'm hoping we do not lose power. We often lose power when it gets windy. I feel like they do it as in case. I don't know. It's not even necessary. So I'm just going to lay all our oranges. You could do lemon. You could do lavender. Think of different smells that you want in your house. This is a great natural way to get smells in your home. If you have one of those like wax warmers, remember the Scentsy ones that were so popular and a lot of retailers still sell them, you can put this in those as well. Hint, hint. Smaller batch, but if you have like a hallway during a party or something that you want to just kind of tuck one in, you're good to go. We are going to show you some other scent stuff, by the way. Scent has such a memory, right? Okay, I don't know why I'm still cutting orange for you guys. You don't need to see me cut it all. Okay, we're just going to tuck all that. Oh, I might as well finish. I only have like 2 slices left. This gets like a beautiful like stained glass look when you use it. I don't like to use the end only because that little nubbin on the end, the little stem part, looks a little weird in these. So boom, there's another tray. I'm just stacking them over here because it's easy. Next, we're going to do apple. I just had an old apple in the refrigerator that I'm like, well, I made apple pie and I had leftovers. It needs to kind of go. I should have gotten out like one of my kitchen gadgets, but you're just going to go as thin as you can until you have the whole apple on your dehydrator tray. If you are going to be using your oven, I wrote this down, you're going to do 200 degrees for 3 to 4 hours. If you're using a dehydrator, it's 135 degrees. Sometimes I'll spike it up a little bit higher than that. When that dries out, that little star in the middle is going to be awesome. 135 degrees, and it does take a lot longer in my dehydrator. It'll take 5-ish hours, and I kind of just go check on it to see, oh, okay, it's done. Sometimes, again, I just like to put it in before I go to bed, and I let it run overnight. So that when I wake up in the morning, it's just done, Okay, so there's our apple. Get that on our tray. I'm interested to see how many bags this ends up making. If you're doing all this effort, you might as well like load up your dehydrator or at least do 2 trays of stuff. I'm not going to do that to go into your dehydrator, right? I do have my little countertop one, my Septree. I am doing another experiment in it right now, so it's not available. So we're using my Big Mama Jumbo. Next ingredient, cranberries, you guys. This is the time of year to get cranberries. I bought 2 bags. I'm probably going to use like half of this one. Cranberries take an incredibly long time to dry if left whole. So I'm not even going to clean them because they're going into a simmer pot. I will be cutting these in half. If you need to line this with parchment paper so they don't fall through, you can. It's not a big deal. I feel like cranberries are so pretty that I like to add a lot of them. Another thing you can do, depending on where you live, is you can find pine cones in your yard. Throw them in the dehydrator so that they're good and dried out. No bugs are going to be alive on them. Throw those into our little simmer pots. They look beautiful in the bag. But like I was saying, rosemary with basil is phenomenal. Lemon slices with lavender, if you have lavender in your garden, phenomenal. Sage leaves dried up with any kind of citrus, yummy. But today I was thinking Christmas, so this is the route we're going. I love cranberries. Are they not? You never look at the inside of a cranberry. Have you ever actually looked at the inside of a cranberry? Let me show you. They do have seeds. Did you know that? Here's the inside of a cranberry. Hopefully it's hollow with little tiny seeds. So funny because you just always cook them into sauce and stuff, so you never actually look, right? Anyways, I'm just going to take these and make sure they're spread out on my trays. And I'm just going to keep going until I have all of my ingredients done on my trays. And then I'm going to pop mine in the dehydrator, and I'm going to probably run it. I'm going to start checking it at hour 3. If you find that anything is already dried, you can pull it out. You don't want to over dry your herbs or things like that. And then the cranberries are my guess that are going to take the longest just because they're very firm and texture wise. But get all your ingredients, whatever they might be, get them going in your dehydrator, and then we'll come back, or oven. By the way, I'll have the instructions below for the oven. I know I already said them. But we'll come back and I'll show you, once these are all dehydrated, how we're going to bag it up to make fantastic little gifts for people. So here we go, right? Don't spend $14 on Etsy. There's no need. You can make this at home. My oranges were like 50 cents, I think. The apple was already in my fridge. Cranberries were $1 a bag. Cinnamon sticks, I did get a big thing of them, but we're using it for a lot of other recipes, so that's just a couple bucks. This was $6 for the big thing. I already had the rosemary in my garden, and I already had the pine, so really low dollar. I'm also going to tell you where the best place to get the little bags are, but I'll show you that later. Okay, be back. Okay, so everything dried. I just let it dry overnight, and I've got our rosemary, our cranberry. I did a little too much pine, I think, but it's fine. I'll use that kind of as a filler. Our apples, our oranges. I pulled out our cinnamon sticks, and then I pulled out some allspice and cloves as well, because I thought those would like lean towards that festive-y, like spiced vibe we're going for. So I'm going to be packaging these in these clear, they're party bags, treat bags. These were from Dollar General. It was $1 for 25 of them, which is like a fantastic deal. So I'm going to be packaging them in those to gift, because then you get to see how pretty everything is. If you wanted to do it in a jar or something, you totally could. I got this thing from Amazon. It's like a Ziploc filler holder. These can extend up. Well, I've had it for years, so we'll see if it stays. I've had it for years, but it basically holds these open while you're building your treats so that it's easy to see. I feel like the guy from Love Actually, when he's like wrapping the gift at the counter for the, the necklace scene. Anyways, I'm just gonna open our little bag. Of course, I don't know why this is not working. It's worked every other time I've ever used it. That's fine. So I have our little bag. These were on the aisle with like the party favors and stuff like that, not in the Christmas section, and they were like on a low shelf. I had to look for a while for them, but 25 of them for $1. I was like, yeah. So I'm thinking this one is going to be like our Christmas type scent. So I'm going to add probably 1 or 2 cinnamon sticks. I'm not really sure. I kind of want to see the look of it. We'll do 2. 2 cinnamon sticks. I'm going to give it a little shake of clove and allspice. Clove can get a little powerful, so don't go too wild with that one, but think things when you boil them, they're going to make it smell Christmassy, Plus it makes like a little more pretty to the overall appearance of this. Usually I just pop these lids off, but I'm trying not to go too wild. A little allspice. You could have black peppercorns too, or the tricolored ones like we use, just to be pretty. Let's see, what order do I want to go in here? I think I'm going to do the bigger stuff and then kind of let the smaller stuff fall around it. So I'm going to do a couple sprigs of our pine kind of tucked in there. Everything is like beautifully dry. It might break apart a little bit, but it's still really pretty, so it's okay. So we have our pine in there. I'm going to do probably 1 sprig of rosemary. I should have done more rosemary, but honestly, we are using it in a couple recipes, so I didn't want to use all of what we have in our garden in here. I'm going to do a couple slices of orange. Look, I mean, they're beautiful. Like, they're like almost translucent once they're dehydrated. They're beautiful. And then, of course, some apple. And then I'm going to try to tuck just a little bit of our dried cranberries, just kind of here, there, because they add such a pretty color. And you can fill these as much as you want. This would probably be like 1. I'm going to add a little more to bulk it up. But this would be like 1 or 2 simmer pots worth. Like I said, I'm going to use pine to kind of bulk mine up because it's the ingredient I have the most of everything. And it's such pretty color with the cranberries. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off of our little thing and give it a shake. Let me break some of these down just so they're not sticking out once we tie it up. But like, do you see how pretty it is with all those colors? Now, I forgot my ribbon. Good job. I found these little chalkboard tag ornaments. It came with, again, Dollar General because it's really close to our house. And they honestly have really good prices on some of their Christmas stuff. So these were 6 for $1. And I thought they come with like a little string and a little chalkboard. You might be able to get them cheaper elsewhere, but y'all, $1 for 6, that's easy. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I have a chalk marker in the other room. I'm just going to tie a little knot on the top of this. I have a chalk marker in the other room that we use in our pantry. I am going to just write either really quick instructions on here, or I may slide instructions into the bag and then just put a name on here. I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to gift it, but Let me grab. Might as well tuck one more orange in there. They're pretty. Let me grab my ribbon. Hold on one second. My bad on that. So it's the infamous ribbon that we keep using. How many times can we use the same brand ribbon? You know what? I have so many yards of this. We're going to use it in pretty much everything this season. So all you're going to do is around the top. It did come with twist ties in the bag, so if you want to do the little metal twist ties instead, you totally can. I think just a ribbon just ties it off so prettily. It's a word. Just give it a little tie. And then before I tie my bow part, I'm going to slip our little tag down the ribbon. I'm hoping this fits. Yeah, we'll just trim up that ribbon just fine. I'm going to slide it down. It's because it has wire in it, so you got to get it going first, and then it will be a little easier to get past that. Think of like if you don't want to do a little tag, a little Christmas ornament from a thrift store would be cute too, like a little vintage ball or something like that. And then, come on, we're almost there. Then I'm just going to tie our bow. And we'll just pull our little tag down here a little bit, make our bow. I'm going to trim it up and make it pretty. I love to do the corners, like a V at the ends. I think it just looks pretty. And then kind of move your fruit around so that it looks prettiest. Like I have too many oranges covering everything now because I thought, oh, I'll add one more, right? Give it a shake. Get some of those cranberries tucked in one of the corners so they're pretty. But this is our simmer pot bag, you guys. This is enough for 2 simmer pots. You basically do 2 to 3 cups of water into, you can do it into a kettle, or you can do it into a just a pan, or into like a really small crock pot. Add like 2 to 3 cups of water into that, half of this bag, and you have like the most beautiful festive scents. My little gift tag is hiding, but throw somebody's name on there. If you have really good handwriting, which I do not, it would look really pretty to put somebody's name on there, or maybe their family name, like the Joneses or whatever, name you want to put on there. But overall, I just think these are super like easy little gifts. This is something that like I'm going to use to gift people. Like I was saying, my postal lady, it's something small. It doesn't cost a ton, but at least I put thought into it, right? So we're going to make a bunch of these up with the ingredients we have. Like I was saying, it's not really expensive. I should have done a few more cranberries. They fell through the racks. So next time I'm going to put a little piece of parchment paper or one of my little mat things on there. But I will be able to do, I'm thinking like 4 or 5 of these little bags, and it didn't cost me much at all. So, I mean, I wish I could do 25 since I have 25 bags, but I'm going to have to come up with another idea for those. So there's our simmer pot bag, you guys. If you give them a try, like I was saying, rosemary, lemon lavender, basil. Think of different scents and herb combos that you think are great. Think candles that you buy. That's another one. Like if you love juniper, you could get little juniper berries. If you like rose petals, go with rose petals. You could get totally creative and do this any time of year. So let me know if you give it a try. Thanks for watching, guys.